For our next exercise, exercise number 4, we have 1 over p plus 1 over q equals 1 over f. Now notice in this time, we don't have a fraction equals a fraction because we have two terms in one side, in this case in the left side. And notice, all of them are fractions. And also, the numerators are ones. One here, one here, one here. The first step is to get rid of fractions, okay? So let's get rid of fractions, okay? Because we obviously don't like fractions. So to get rid of fractions, we want to find the less common denominator. So we need the LCD, the less common denominator. In this case, notice that we have different letters. We have P, Q, and F. They are different variables or letters. So by default, our LCD is going to be the multiplication of every single denominator. So in this case will be P multiplied by Q multiplied by F. So P, Q, and F is going to be our LCD in this case. So now what? We are going to use the LCD to get rid of fractions. Okay, let's rewrite the equation. So we are going to use the LCD to get rid of the fractions, okay? We are going to multiply the LCD by every single fraction, okay? That means that we're going to multiply this fraction by PQF, this fraction by PQF, and this fraction by PQF. You have to multiply every single term in the whole equation, okay, by the LCD. Because notice what's going to happen. This P with this P is going to cancel. So we are left with QF multiplied by 1 that give us QF. Let's bring down the plus. In this fraction, we have Q in the denominator, so the Q from the LCD will go away with the Q of this fraction. Because this Q is at the numerator and Q from the denominator, they are dividing, so they cancel. So we are left with 1 multiplied by PF, which is PF, equals, and also in this case, this F will cancel with the F from the LCD. So we are left with 1 multiplied by PQ, which is PQ. Okay? Now, we have to solve for Q. But notice, I have Q in this term and I have Q in this term as well. That means that we need to put the two terms that have Q in the same side. So let's move this QF to the other side. So QF is automatically positive. So we do negative QF both sides. So we are left with, in the left side, that cancels. We are left with PF equals PQ minus QF. Now, like in the previous problem, we want to solve for Q, but we have Q in this term and Q in this term as well. So what we want to do is that we want to factor out that Q, because we only want to have only one Q, so we factor out. Because Q is our common term, and that's the variable that we want to solve for. So to go from Q to PQ, we are missing the P. Minus, because of this minus, to go from Q to QF, we are missing the F. Now, the next step, notice, the next step is that we want to get rid of this parenthesis of P minus F that is multiplying Q, okay? So to get rid of something that is multiplying, we do the opposite, which is division by the whole thing inside the parenthesis. In this case, P minus F. This way, this P minus F and this P minus F will cancel. So we are left with Q equals, in the right side, we are left with only Q, with PF divided by P minus F. And that's going to be our final solution.